We now vote on the resolution as a whole by roll call. I open the vote.
In 2022, MEPs voted on a resolution on the revision of EU treaties inspired by citizens' ideas.
And it is adopted.
MEPs of the Spinelli Group had been advocating for this for a long time, following in the footsteps of Altiero Spinelli and his Manifesto the Ventotene. Spinelli was an Italian politician and journalist. When he was 17 years old, he joined the Communist Party, for which he was placed under house arrest by the Italian fascist regime on the island of Ventotene between 1927 and 1943. From here, Spinelli, with the help of Ernesto Rossi, Eugenio Colorni, Ursula Hirschman and Ada Rossi, drafted a document known as Il Manifesto di Ventotene. In times of war, the manifesto advocated for a federal Europe to overcome conflicts between nation-states. Ursula Hirschman and Ada Rossi brought the manifesto to the continent, transcribed on cigarette papers hidden in pillowcases. Once smuggled to the mainland, the women edited, distributed and translated the text. After his release in 1943, Altiero Spinelli was involved in founding the Italian Movimento Federalista Europeo and took part in the 1948 Congress of Europe. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, he was a leading activist involved with the 1954 European Political Community Initiative and the Congress of the European People Movement to create a European Federal Constitution. Spinelli was elected to the European Parliament in 1979. Together with a cross-party group of MEPs, the Crocodile Club, named after the restaurant in Strasbourg where they met, he worked to build a federal Europe strongly connected to its citizens. In the early 1980s, Spinelli, as rapporteur of the newly established Committee on Institutional Affairs, drew up a draft treaty establishing a European Union.
Mit Spinelli konnte man nur ein gutes Verhältnis haben. Nein, er war ja ein fantastischer Mensch und auch in der Art, wie er redete. Also das war schon beeindruckend, auch mich beeindruckend.
Vous connaissez tous le petit roman de Hemingway où il parle d'un vieux pêcheur qui pêche le plus grand poisson de sa vie.
Das war eine tolle Rede und er sah so auch, der Spinelli mit kahlem Kopf und eisgrauem Bart und so weiter. Also er sah selber aus wie der alte Mann.
Monsieur le Président, le Parlement, par le vote qu'il va donner dans quelques minutes, aura pris le plus grand poisson de sa vie. Et il doit le porter encore dans le port. Mais faisons bien attention, parce que des requins seront à tout moment là pour tâcher de le dévorer. Tâchons de ne pas arriver seulement avec une arête.
The draft treaty, also known as the Spinelli Plan, introduced fundamental concepts for the Union, from codecision to the principle of subsidiarity, the establishment of the single market and European Union citizenship.
Les affaires d'intérêt commun ne peuvent être valablement gérées que par un pouvoir véritablement commun.
The treaty was adopted by the European Parliament in 1984. The draft treaty provided a basis for the Single European Act of 1986 and for the Maastricht Treaty of 1992, forming the European Union.
We have an agreement that also in the next period the legislative cycle from 24 to 24.
We are here in the European Parliament. If there is today European Parliament with the full powers as we have today, it's because of Altiero Spinelli, because he was the first to go forward with the idea that a European Union is good, but the European Union without a parliamentary democracy elected by the people is nothing at all.
Altiero Spinelli died on the 23rd of May 1986, but his legacy and vision are still being carried forward at the European Parliament. Inspired by the spirit of Ventotene, the Spinelli Group was created in 2010.
The purpose of the Spinelli Group is to continue the legacy of Altiero Spinelli. Altiero Spinelli believed that a peaceful future for this continent is only possible with a federalist European Union.
In 2022, the proposal of a manifesto for a federal Europe, sovereign, social and ecological, was born. a year after the 80th anniversary of the Ventotene Manifesto.
The world has changed, so there was a need to have a new manifesto based on the same ideas, the same spirit as the spirit that you can find by Altiero Spinelli in the original Manifesto Ventotene. And that became the new manifesto.
Together, 23 drafters and 60 supporters set proposals inspired by the original manifesto for today's Europe. After its first presentation in March 2022, MEPs and Federalist activists discussed the manifesto on the island of Ventotene in August 2022. Following the 2022 resolution on treaty reform, the group has worked to bring a file through the European Parliament with measures designed to make the Union able to act faster and be closer to citizens. Ready for the challenges of today and of tomorrow, from climate change to the protection of fundamental rights. In 2021, one of the few remaining original copies of the Ventotene Manifesto was restored by the Historical Archives of the European Union. Ensuring the long-term preservation of this historically significant document of European federalism, the manifesto is kept here in Florence. The Archives of the European Parliament now keeps the modern proposal for a manifesto. Through this, the living memory of Spinelli and the history and making of European federalism will be preserved for future generations.